If you have been following the How to Attract Women series for a while, you probably know well enough that the fastest way to reach a girl's heart lies through long-lasting thoughts of you in her mind. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to get her to think of you 24 hours a day without being able to get you out of her head. There are 2 doors in the mind of the girl you like. You must get 2 keys to get inside. In this video, I will give you those 2 keys. Uncertainty is the first door. I think this was one of the hardest things for me to learn as a matter of fact about women's psychology. To be good at playing this game, it took me ages to master this secret because women are very perceptive, and if you don't know how to play by their rules, they will surely outsmart you and take away your certainty. No problem. Today, in this video, I am going to explain to you in the most simple way this game, so you will understand perfectly with me. Uncertainty means that the girl shouldn't fully understand your feelings. Scientifically, women are attracted to men whose emotions are somewhat of a mystery, giving them uncertainty. Uncertainty leads to thought, and thought leads to love. How do you do this? The first thing a woman does when talking to you is to look for certainty. That's her ultimate goal. There is actually a scientific theory that actually states that there is the uncertainty reduction theory, where people interact only because they want to reduce uncertainty. Hence, certainty plays a huge role in the interaction between 2 people, but that theory refers to basically meeting other people, not necessarily romantically involved, and therefore I will save a deeper discussion on that theory to another video in the Social Skills series. Don't interrupt me for now, as I tell you the effects of this theory on a situation like someone talking to a girl he fancies. A woman likes to know the answers to the 3 questions. Do you really want her? How much are you interested in her? And who likes the other more? Does she like you more than you like her, or vice versa? The moment you start talking to a girl, her subconscious is itching to know these 3 answers. But if you do not give her the answers, she becomes yours. Now remember that she will want to know these answers and keep playing games with you to find it out. But do not worry, I will let you know how not to give her these answers. First, do not flatter her looks. You need to know something. If a woman is beautiful, her ego is probably through the roof. Especially with social media and dating apps, she could be 5 feet tall, weigh 180 pounds, and have a square-shaped body, yet act like she's a goddess of beauty. You could walk right up to her and then just ask what time it is, and she's going to take it as you're interested in her right off the bat. Ego's a big topic, and if you are interested, I can do a video on cracking her ego inside the How to Attract Women series. Let me know down below in the comments. But the key thing here is that when you are talking to her and she's attractive, it immediately assumes that you are into her. And now not a problem if she assumes you like her. What she should not know is whether you want her, so the very first rule of thumb is do not flatter her, particularly in the early stages of getting to know her and attracting her, and don't start abusing her either. Just talk normally, without giving compliments like, "You are beautiful," "You have great hair," "Your eyes are beautiful," etc. These are things I so often see men do, and I used to do them too. Please avoid this, and if you feel an urge to say them, just remember this piece of advice and stop yourself. Do not ask for a date. Instead, state that you and the girl went out, did some talking, and had a good time. Do not say such things as, "We should go out again," or, after the meeting, "Wow, I had a great time. We should do this again sometime." I see many people doing this, trying to let the girl know that they had a good time on the date. But this presents certainty when you do this. And when she returns home and thinks about you, she says to herself, "I went out with that guy. He enjoyed himself, and he would like to date me again." And that's where the suspense will end. She won't be thinking about you much afterwards. And if you don't say anything, if you just go out, meet, talk, laugh, and then leave without having said some next time, you know what she's going to be thinking when she gets home. Did he enjoy it? Does he want to see me again? She'll be critiquing the meeting, going over what she did and whether she came across okay or not, and whether she did everything right or made mistakes. That's the spark that gets going. Or perhaps you just start talking and you text her saying, "Let's go out." I did an entire video on texting. All of you always ask me what to text. In the beginning, never ask for a date. Third, do not ask from her. Do not ask from her something that would claim you need her or her love. For instance, if you will have a talk with her, never ask her Instagram accounts and other social media, even more details of your accounts. Never ask that she hug you or kiss you as well, and also never ask her to call you. I saw many bachelors doing this. They send her messages with the remarks, "Why don't you reply to me?" Or, "Why don't you call and check on me?" As if she were their mother. Live your life and make her feel like she's just in the background of it, and do not ask for a thing so you will not become that clingy to her attention. Let me repeat, the ego of a girl is high, and all these guys talking to her continuously look for her consent and love. The thing is, you see, if you don't ask for anything in return, you do start to get noticed by being nobody, and you make her begin asking herself questions like, "Who's this guy? Does he not like me? Doesn't he want me? And if he doesn't want me, then why does he keep talking to me?" Then she starts to think of you. She's saying to herself, "Where does this guy come from? Doesn't he realize how beautiful I am? What is going on in that head of his?" These questions and desires create a need for you to want to know her answers, to meet with you again, to learn about you. You have created a strong attraction without even thinking about it. That is one minor note. Don't be hyper-cold or completely impassive, because then you'll just give her a straightforward no to all her questions, so she's at least going to get the surety she's looking for. So be smart. Be unavailable all the time. This is actually something that I talked about a lot in this series. In short, don't always be available. Don't respond right away to her messages. Don't be there every time she calls you. If you went out with her today, then wait for 7 days before you can suggest going out again. Talk to her today. Do not talk to her tomorrow, and do not cling to her. Some will say, "If I don't talk to her often, she'll forget me." That is a wrong conception. Wipe it from your head. Let me explain why and clarify something important about the women. A girl takes time developing all those feelings to start liking you. Of course, much of that time will be spent with you, but most of it must be time away from you. She needs time to think about you before she starts liking you. She will wake up in the morning and remember you. She will go to work and be talking about you with her friends. She will walk down the street and see something that reminds her of you. Attraction builds when you're not around. That's why I'm saying give her some space to think about you, and I will give you a golden piece of advice, which I hope you'll take for life. A girl will forget you if you fear she will forget you. Should you ever find yourself thinking, "Maybe this girl might forget me," or "I should message her so she doesn't forget me," keep this tip in mind. A girl will forget you if you fear she will forget you. And I'm telling you this from personal experience because you need to understand something important. The modern world we live in, with social media, dating apps, movies and all that, has placed a high value on women, making men always available. So you should know if you're talking to a good-looking chick that rest assured there are dozens of other clinger guys holding onto her because she might forget them. And as I said earlier, a girl will forget you if you're scared that she'll forget you. This means that she will forget everybody except the one guy who's not afraid of losing her. Trust in this process. The final step I want you to do to achieve uncertainty is to resist the inner urge to give her certainty. Look, when you're talking to a girl, especially if she's the only girl you're talking to, you'll feel internal pressure to give her certainty. You will be feeling like flattering her, proposing a second meeting, asking her for something, being accessible, or even being afraid that she may forget you. Such feelings come up, but I want you to have a sense of adventure that suppresses such an urge and controls yourself. It will help you learn the art of self-control and lead you toward benefiting in all walks of life, not just about women. Trust me here. And as you feel that inner voice that you should be doing the opposite of what I am saying, hold back and do as I have suggested. Doing all this will give you the first door's key. The second door is the door of expectations. Always be opposite to her expectations. And don't worry, I'll let you know how to do this step by step. Stay with me. Never let a girl predict your actions or understand you totally. This is a crucial rule. Pay attention, please. I'm going to explain this in detail. When you give a girl uncertainty, you make her think about you. And the more she will think about you, the more she will begin to think about your next step, and then guess what you're going to do. Whatever she waits to happen, do the opposite. In other words, if she thinks you're going to zig, zigzag, and if she thinks you're going to zag, zig, she'll be thinking about you even more since you're keeping her stuck in this vicious circle. I know this can seem a little confusing, and you may be wondering how you'll know what she is thinking. Well, not to worry, because it's going to all make sense shortly. The human mind is straightforward. It expects repetition of what you did. Just imagine someone who knows everyone lies all the time, and you know how when he gives you a story, you will always expect that lie. This is just the way with the girl. If you call her every day to talk, then she expects you to continue calling daily. If you are chatting on a particular day and leave the next day untouched, she expected that. So, always do the opposite of what you normally tend to do. In case you went out with her 3 times during this week, next week, do not go out with her at all or just once. If you happen to be sending her messages every day, refrain from it for some time. If you always laugh with her, try sometimes to meet her without laughing even once. That is, keep her guessing when she is with you and make her feel puzzled and incapable of figuring you out. Anyway, let me remind you of another important point I illustrated using a story. So, one day, I went out with a girl who told me about this guy she communicates with on WhatsApp. She said he constantly messages her, and it's pretty obvious he likes her and wants her, but she was not interested. She said that whenever she takes the time to reply, he reflects back her timing. If she sends the reply after 3 hours, he sends back a reply after 3 hours. If she takes a full day to reply, he waits for a full day before sending back the reply too. I think by the time I heard this, I wished that guy was in front of me so I could shake some sense into him and say to him, "Where do you get this naivety?" This is probably based on the fact that he thinks he is keeping his value or whatever by mirroring her response times. Well, no. First, he is giving all the control to her, which is a tremendous mistake. Then women aren't naive. You would play those kinds of games with her, but she would just see through it and understand you are not frank. This is tough to take in, but if you're playing these games with the girls, thinking you are so clever and she's never going to find out, then you are the blind one. Don't play these games sometimes to just say yes straight out, and sometimes not say until much later, and other times take no notice of what she has to say. Work on your judgment, and don't be affected if she doesn't even. Just keep rearranging things, and this way you will end up less interested in her, while it will also make it impossible for her to predict your next step. These are the keys to the doors of any girl's mind. This was Psychology Wisdom, and I'll see you in the next video.